go. This is... Okay. Oh my god. June 17th. June 17th, 2020. Today is August 14th, 2020. I went into the store. I asked for the absolute freshest one that they had. I didn't care what it was. I said, please just give me something that was packaged in the shortest amount of time from today. And this is what they gave me. They looked at their entire stock. And so the freshest they have is June. Opening it. Let's see. Oh, it's dust. Ready? It's just dust. You know, I remember when I got weed when I was a kid. You would get it, and you couldn't crumble it until you had it for like 2 or 3 weeks. And you could buy an ounce, and it would last like a really long time because it was so wet, and the joints burned very slowly. This is the freshest that Canada's weed is. And it's scratchy. Should have fucking left it to the professionals. You don't know what you're doing. All you want to do is capitalize, produce things massively across the country, and profit as much as you possibly can. And this is medication. This is not something that you can fuck with. This is not something that you can produce massively and maintain the same quality. This is not a recipe for a president's choice. This is a goddamn medicine, and it should be treated as such. I'm smoking this fucking crack-ass weed. I just paid $150 for this. It smells like the bottom of a lawnmower, literally. And it tastes like shit. Leaves a really nasty taste in my mouth. What the fuck are you putting in this? This weed is actually the worst weed I've had in a while. It's like making my head hurt. I've coughed so much. My mouth, it's already gone out twice on its own, and it's burning like halfway. It's not like people say, oh, it's canoeing. No, there's like literally part of this weed that is not burning, and there's like little black flecks flying off that looks like it's plastic. It's already out. I can't even keep this lit. Not only is it dry, but there are inputs used in the production of this marijuana to keep it at mass production that are not only reducing the quality, but also harming us. I stand by it. I've talked to people about their inputs. Scientists, there are a lot, okay? I have already made complaints multiple times to people at these medical industries because I have a prescription for marijuana, and it's very important to me, and I've been having adverse reactions. You know when you burn plastic and it floats off in the air in this little black soot? That has been coming off my weed every now and then. My weed is not burning properly. Some weed gives me hives. And I know it's the input because I'll have a strain that is perfectly fine for me, and actually one that I love and prefer, and then I'll hit one that's got something in it and I'll get hives. And so I'm actually allergic to one of their inputs. And I've gone to that strain at other places and didn't have a problem. You know, because I buy the same ones. I'm a very heavy consumer of this medicine my entire life. And, you know, they're not even talking to the people that consume it or require this medicine before they make all of these policy changes. And the changes to this has impacted my life, I think, more. I used to be able to afford my life while being able to maintain my medicine before legalization. And now the quality of this medicine, I don't even feel the benefits from anymore. But when I was, I thought it was me. I swear to God, I did. I thought it was me. And I went to Europe twice, Copenhagen and Portugal, and I was okay. I actually felt medicated the entire time. The entire time, for the first time in years, really, because the government has been having their hands in this mass production now for quite a long time. And even when it was still on the street, they were still accessing government weed and selling it. And it was still the same mass production and the poor quality and the wrong hands, basically. The cannabis plant is very sensitive. All plants are. You can't just put a lot of inputs without understanding. And this goes on both sides. This is on, the underground labs as well. I knew people that were in hydroponics and they were putting all sorts of fucking shit in their weed and it turned out whack. And they regretted it. And they're like, there's only one way to fucking do this, and it's the hard way. And you add too many plants and you're gonna add bugs and you're gonna have to have pest control. It's just the way it is. You can't have huge fields of this product without getting tons of pollinators, which you do not want, and bugs, which you do not want. And in any controlled setting, you're going to need a large amount of inputs, no matter what. You could have an entire fucking hood and roof over an entire production of plants, and all it takes is for one little plant to have a bug, and within a little bit of time, your entire space is infected. It's very quick. And people are using biological pest control, pests to kill other pests. What people don't understand is that there's still an ecosystem involved in that, okay? And I was talking to the scientist at one, I'm not gonna name which one, but at one of the medical producers, and he and I, had a really great conversation about, the overpopulation of said pest control versus the pest. And so what happens is you'll have a pest overpopulation, okay, on the cannabis. So you introduce another pest in which they overpopulate and then are left with no resources and die. And so you end up with waste from the consumption of those animals on top of the death of those other resources that die off. And so people aren't scrubbing their marijuana before they sell it, okay? You can have a huge population of two insects that end up as both shit and dead bodies on your weed. And then they package it, let it sit on a shelf for a couple months, and it goes moldy as fuck. You can't see it, but it's there. And you fucking smoke it. There are so many things wrong with mass production of weed, and it needs to stop. No matter where I buy my weed from, it's fucking been on the shelf for months. It's dry as fuck. It smells like shit. And the best shit I've gotten in the last few years has been from, I won't say it because I don't want them to get inundated with any people, but you probably know. And it's not your right to go and take from them. It's the government's responsibility to supply your weed. And they should have better standards, and they should leave it to the professionals. And this is my public service announcement, and I'm really pissed off, and I'm gonna fucking sue you guys, the government. I'm suing you for all of this, for everything that you've done to my insurance, for everything that you've done to me as an employee, for a citizen, as a voting member of this country, as someone who needs medication, this public health system, and your lack of education on the entire thing, and your lack of involvement of people that even need the medicine in your policy making. It's gotta stop. I'm actually more functional when I'm medicated, and I get more done, and all the people in my life wish that they could keep up with me, and I'm still fucking smoking weed most of the day, and y'all still can't keep up with me. So please, don't tell me I'm a fucking pothead that sits around all day just because that's who you are, and you can't smoke weed, because when that happens to you, you just become more fucking lazy. It says daily or near daily use over a prolonged period of time can harm brain development and function for young adults. Well, I don't know, because I haven't gotten any, I don't know, am I less smart than I was? Is that a bad thing? Was I too smart to begin with? Because I'm still pretty much smarter than a lot of people that I know. And I've been inhaling weed as a second hand, I would say, consistently, even in my womb, okay? And then all my life, I have been within a cloud of pot, okay? My mother gave me my first joint at 12 years old. And since that moment, I have been clipping from her homegrown or her stash or pocketing, from like literally 12 till I moved out on my own. I had been dipping my fingers in her oil, pinching from her hash and her plants. And without that constant medication, I would never have survived what was going on in my life. There is just no way. And I don't think everybody needs that. And I definitely really wouldn't recommend it. But to say that I am more stupid today, or could be more stupid today, for my prolonged every single day use since I was about 12 years old, is a lie. And I'm proof of that. I'm sorry, Canadian government. Stop putting these harming messages